I think we're ready, right? Somebody say action or something because who knows what's going to happen, right? Welcome to Coffee Connect, everybody. I'm Roddy. I'm the host. We're going to have a great conversation today. We have another triple header. I want to remind everybody, right? Daniel came in today with gratitude for the group and the conversations that we have and the connections that we have. And I think that explains a lot of it, right? We're all here to learn. We're all here to share and network and grow our network so that we can continue to expand our horizons and our goals and things that we're trying to achieve. And I've always been a believer of each one teach one, and as we learn that we can continue to go out and grow others in what we do. Uh, I feel like I'm at the wrong camera or something here. I'm not, but sure. We'll go ahead and keep going. And so if you are aware, right, we are recording. We do post the recordings to www.addictedtoconnecting.com. That's the website for Coffee Connect. As well, if you want to be invited to understand what the next week's topics are or be tied into the other communications that take place, please email me. I don't add anybody to the list unless you ask to be added, right? CC info at addictedtoconnecting.com, and I'll add you to the list. That's not a problem, guys. Celebrations, announcements, ask anything. Raise your hands or unmute yourselves and let us know what's going on.
I put it in the chat, but Melinda accepted and started her new role yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Woohoo!
That's
So I'm
awesome.
waiting for karma to come back to me now.
Exactly. Exactly. And we know Susie's kind of in the late stages of that as well, and hopefully getting that offer coming soon that she'll be landing. Anybody else? Big announcements, ask, anything like that. So I've got some ask, guys, speakers and facilitators, right? If you're interested in maybe leading a session or leading a breakout or something like that, please shoot that to me or let me know either on LinkedIn or through email, right? Uh, Always looking for people, right? Last week we had Dave and we had myself and Ray kind of did the triple header breakout. We're going to do triple header, but we're going to do a little bit different framework today. And we're going to try a couple different frameworks over the next couple of weeks, right? So that we hopefully find something that works for us all going into the new year. I say new year because March 31st will be our anniversary date. So really going into April, guys. But the other thing is topics, right? What topics do you want? If you got something that's on your mind, you're like, man, I'd like to, have a conversation about this, have a collaboration about this, right? Bring those to my attention so that we can bring those to the forefront, right? And hopefully get those on the schedule at some point. Uh, and so Tim is asking for the meeting ID and passcode. Let me copy that real quick. That's the other thing. The toolbars are like all over the place, man. Uh, for my new laptop setup. Um, but I'm getting there. All right, so he's got that. So hopefully we'll see Tim in here in a few minutes. Um, so yeah, if you got topics, please shoot those to me. Let's have those let's get those on the schedule so that we can bring those to light. Uh, and then today, growth under pressure. Uh, there's no way for us to avoid the outside world, right? From coming into our lives or coming into our existence or maybe ruining our harmony throughout our week and stuff like that. But there is a way for us to hopefully recognize what that means to us, right? How that affects us. And wow, that's a horrible segue there as the video ended, right? Um, there is a way for us to recognize, right, what triggers those things, right? And hopefully get control over our emotions so that we don't react, right? I use my son as an example, right? My son, avid video gamer, right? He loves his video games, but he also gets so angry at his video games, right? Uh, and having conversations with him over the years about, listen, that gets you nowhere. Like you raise your blood pressure for something on a screen that you have no control over. And oh, by the way, it absolutely means nothing in the grand scheme of things in your life, right? Uh, and listen, that's no different than uh, maybe you don't get the call back, right? Maybe you get ghosted, and it's easy to get angry about those things, but more importantly, what do you want to do about it, right? The idea would be, Tim used to tell me, hey, if you had an appointment cancel on you, go set two more, right? If you got two more to go to, then you won't ever have any worries about what's going on with the canceled appointment. You can just go on in life, right, and continue to grow in the way that you want, and just understand that timing wasn't right for that person, that individual, or whatever it was, that company, right? That may have ghosted you, right? And so the third part of this is the growth skill, right? How do we build that resilience so it becomes a lot easier for us? And so today's triple header, guys, is all centered around, right, uh, shaping our response, right? And so there's three topics: stress awareness, emotional regulation, and resilience that we're going to focus on. We're going to go to breakout. We're going to stay in breakout for a very long period of time today. And so we're not going to shuffle around like we did last week and create all kinds of chaos, like I like in my world, right? We're going to go to three breakouts. And every breakout is going to discuss all three of these. And then we're going to come back and we're going to toss the baton, right? Someone's going to share something, they're going to toss the baton to somebody else. And then they're going to share something, they're going to toss the baton to somebody else. So everyone in here should be prepared to share maybe something that they got out of the discussions with their group. First and foremost, I'm going to encourage everyone, right? If you don't have Word open or a PowerPoint open right now, screenshot this, because you're going to have three screenshots, one for each of those topics, or write them down in your notes or however you want to, whatever is convenient for you. But stress and awareness, right? First of all, we want to understand what is stress and awareness, right? Recognizing early signals before the emotion takes place, right? Uh, and so questions that we want to be able to answer, and these are not like these are the only questions. These are just to kind of prompt you to get thinking, right? What signals tell you pressure is building up? Right? What situations consistently trigger stress for you? And what small actions can help you reset before the overwhelmingness might hit you, right? And so if you've got that screenshot, we're going to go to the next one real quick. Emotional regulation, right? Choosing your response instead of reacting in autopilot. And listen, these are things that we often visit. And I think these are so important to us, right? Because the negativity that gets expressed into our mind when emotions take over and stuff sometimes just takes hold of us and puts us in a paralyzed mode for sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes days, right? And we don't want to get to that point. We want to be able to, oh, that happened, and we react in a way that gets us moving along to the next step in our life versus in a positive manner, right? Not in that negative manner. And so, questions: what helps you pause before reacting, right? What does grounded response look like for you, right? What simple practices helps you stay centered under pressure, right? Jeff was on with me the other night. We were moving data and helping me set up my new computer and stuff, right? And it was crazy, right? As soon as we logged into Zoom, as soon as I hit log into Zoom, the old laptop went blah, 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 and it like shut down like it was doing, which is why I have a new laptop right now, right? And it took a little while, but uh, Jeff, did you hear any stress in my voice, right? I mean, I didn't get angry. I certainly didn't throw the laptop because I probably should have. But it was. I found ways to ground myself to where, why do I have to get angry about it, or why do I have to get upset about it, or let my emotions take hold of what that is, right? And so we want to understand that. And then the last one, guys, is, and probably the most important, right, is resilience, recovering quickly and learning from those things that set us back, right? What recent setbacks maybe have you experienced, right, that have taught you some valuable lessons? How do you typically bounce back when things go sideways, right? And then what habits do you have, or what habits do you know about that we can share, right, that are going to help us build that resiliency and recover even faster? And so we'll go ahead and stop. I'm going to stop sharing there. And I think I am. There we go. We're going to get these breakout rooms. I should have set these up already or gave somebody the authority to set them up. Just
But actually, there was one time I called in an order and they said, "Welcome to your Deli Domino's," and it was like, no.
Oh my gosh.
You could tell that was a nationally done recording.
So one, I want to make sure, did we get transcripts saved?
I saved hours, yes.
I saved ours. How should I send these to you? Is it something I can send through the Zoom?
What, so the transcript won't come through to your Zoom thing until after the meeting's all over and stuff. You can just send it to me in email or you can drop it in LinkedIn, however whatever's convenient for you guys, man. I mean,
I actually
anyway.
saved it before we left the breakout, and it's already in my folder.
Okay. If it's already in your folder, you might just be able to drop it in the chat. That's fine too.
All right, I'll see if I can do that.
But listen, I'll start. I said, a lot of times we look at stuff like this when we're talking about stress awareness and stuff, and we think that it's because of negative experiences on our outside world or whatever, right? But I shared in our room. I said, this doesn't always have to be negative. Last week, uh, to keep a long story short, right? There was three opportunities where I had recognized there was individuals that were taken advantage of on loans and stuff like that. And one of them was a 19-year-old got a 25% loan on a used car, and all of this stuff. And it just, man, it had me so much in my emotions, man. And I realized, man, I don't have to look at this as a negative. Our company was founded on the crusade that life insurance people were being taken advantage of on life insurance, and it's just a different crusade, right? It's just a different way for me to use what's happening to people as fuel to go out and do what's right and hopefully correct the injustices that are there, right? And so that's my share from the discussions that we had. I'm going to toss it. We're going to toss it to Miss Julie.
One of the things that I realized is that somebody needs to get the knife out of my upper back neck and shoulder area because that's where all my tension is. But I think that we all had in common certain things and stuff that, we all need to go take a walk and get away a little bit from and also realize that this is very small, not big picture thing and stuff. Don't let it get to us. So those are kind of some of the common themes that we were talking about in our group.
Awesome. Toss it, Julie.
I'm gonna throw it to Pam.
I'm very similar, Julie. When my stress levels get too high, I start having back pain, and in order to reduce that, I need to rechannel myself because naturally I am not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. You would never know it. But I would have to journal or video chat myself on my phone. And just by talking about things, that releases the tension in my back. So part of it's rechanneling.
Yeah. Toss it, Pam.
Let's go to Daniel Johnson.
Um, any of these questions or the first one?
Any of them. Anything you want to answer, man. Anything you want to share, brother.
One of the things that stood out among our group is that we have to have a posture of hope, that there is always going to be hope, because that's the thing that's going to be able to get us out of there, having that mindset that, what we will have the resources that we need. People talked about faith, about, being able to pray, have gratitude for what we currently have, even though the situations and the circumstances might be unexpected. We talked a little bit about those types of things, man. With some of the people in our group, they've gone through some amazing and intense things, and it just reminds me of, we have been through some really intense things, and some of those learnings that we've had from previously, we can take some of that and use it for what we need going forward. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Jeff Hexter.
I got nothing. So we one of the things we talked about early on in our group was that when you are the need to emotionally regulate yourself, and it has to be done by oneself. No one else can calm you. this is all. There's the joke about when your wife is upset, just tell her to calm down. I don't know for whom that has ever worked without ether. So you have to learn to do it for yourself, and you do that through. I actually don't know how one learns to do that for oneself. So if you know, please tell us. But once you've got that, you can move on to the next stage more rapidly.
Mhm.
And that does come down to recognizing that need for hope, and that whatever's happening has happened before. Other people have gone through this. Most have survived. There's a sign in my mother's kitchen that says many people have eaten food from this kitchen and gone on to lead normal lives. So it's the you gotta actually. We didn't talk about this, but I think humor might be part of this.
Humor is a huge part of this, man. I'll bring it back up. But toss it, Jeff, to somebody. We'll keep going through real quick.
I'll jump in for a second because I do have one technique for that calming which for me is music. I would assume that there are probably other people that will work for. But yeah, if I can just put on some really good music, and I'm not talking about just the radio. Like I need certain songs that take me back to certain places and times in my life. And it really, I'm sure there's something like neurochemically going on there that brings that stress level way down almost instantly.
Naps work really well as well.
Love a nap too. That's great.
There's a nap for that. Okay.
Yes. But
Jamie.
Hey, for me, I feel like it's important, and what works for me is I need to get it out, whatever frustration, whatever's going on. So expressing my feelings, expressing whatever's going on, whether I do it to another person, whether I do it in my car screaming and yelling, or I write it down as a document and then I delete it. I don't need to say, because most of the time I shouldn't say how I'm feeling if it's that stressful. So feeling the emotions and then taking a step back and reevaluating. So that hopefully I will not react the way I really want to in a situation that could use a little more calm and perspective. And then maybe stepping back from there and looking at, okay, so now I've got all my emotions out. Then what is, maybe a silver lining, try to find something that I can work with in the situation and from where I'm coming from and where the other person is coming from. That's another part of that is what's going on with the other person before I react. That's pretty much what I've got.
Awesome.
Oh, so I need to have. Okay. How about Joe? I don't know how to Gallia. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was a great try. What I talked about in our breakout group was how I handle resilience, after disappointment. And I find that if I feel like I'm not being productive, I get very frustrated. And so it's like constantly thinking about what's next or what's my plan B, and to start to work that plan um, when even though something might be going well or I'm not sure, start a plan B. So if that disappointment does come, I feel I'm being productive and working on the next goal or project or something to keep me positive. I'm by default a very optimistic person, so that helps me with being optimistic that I'm working on the next thing.
Toss it, Joe. Yep.
Okay, Patrick.
Good throw. Good throw. I'm looking over the slides here. The emotional regulation one was good as well, and staying calm. If you find that you're getting stressed, we're commenting that, or I was commenting. I shouldn't say we. We're commenting that having the ability to look beyond the situation that you're in, that you're getting stressed through it, having, I think the word that Daniel used was hope, but having a definite understanding of, okay, there's something beyond this that we can work towards. and not letting it get to you personally. It's not a personal attack when somebody disagrees with you. It's just they have a conflict with it, or they bring the conflict to you. You're at a situation where they're bringing the conflict to you. It's not a personal attack. So having that regulation to stay calm and to look through it, to look beyond it, I find is important. That gives me that pause that we were talking about at the beginning of the emotional regulation to then work my way through it. Otherwise, I get so ramped up so quick. I find I get so like Jamie does. I have to find a spot to go outside and cuss it out a little. So anyway, I throw it over to Mr. Bender.
Okay. Now there's a good try. A lot of people would say binder, and it's like you got it right. I would say in our group, we all kind of expressed that we kind of need to step back, maybe get up to the 25,000 foot level and kind of reassess, and then refocus, and then come back in and reattack the problem, that way. Just kind of, and sometimes you just need to, whether it's your spouse or a work situation or whatever, you just need to walk away for a few minutes, hit the reset button, and then start over. And sometimes that can literally be a minute, and sometimes it might have to be an hour or a day or whatever. But it's like you can't totally ignore the situation. You have to reset, but get back in there and with a different perspective and kind of after a reset and see. And I mentioned a couple ways that I do that. In the summertime, it's to go hit golf balls at the driving range. Just kind of do something physical and get that out. And then other times it's a walk. And sometimes it might be a walk in the morning with no headphones and just kind of try to listen for a railroad train in the distance or the birds or, whatever the morning sounds are in the neighborhood. And then other times put the headphones in and just blow everything out of your brains and start over. Those are kind of the different ways that I deal with it.
Don't combine that last one with Jeff's, okay? I just don't want you. Don't combine that last statement of Joe's with Jeff Hexer's, okay? Percussive therapy and blowing your brains out, okay? That won't be good.
And I'm going to throw it to the Hoosier. Go, Kate.
I think a lot of mine is kind of seconding what Joe just said there. I started the group saying I'm pretty good about all of this in comparison to most people that are around me. I get frustrated by people that get overly stressed about things and like, chill out. You're like hurting the team because you are making so much more out of this than it needs to be. So it's really like perspective, thinking about priorities. In my previous role, I oversaw a 24/7 youth shelter. And so my leadership my direct supervisor was newer to it. And so she got worked up about things a lot. And I'd have to be like, it's okay. And so when I'd call and like vent to a coworker, she'd be like, did anybody die? Like, nope, nobody died. Just putting things in perspective. My husband is terrible about doom thinking. Like he stresses over the worst case scenario that never ends up happening. And so I have to like bring him back to that. I'm like, it's not worth your energy. If it gets to the point where that looks like it might happen, then let's talk about it. But you're just digging a hole for yourself and putting more stress on yourself than you need to.
Yeah, Kate told us in the room that there's nothing that you can say or do to her that she can't handle, okay? Challenge accepted, right?
That sounds like a challenge.
Toss it, Kate.
Lamar, have you gone yet?
Nope. Mine will be very quick, and I love learning. One of my strengths, but and I forget who said this, but failure is really only occurs when you don't learn from the mistake. Okay, And if any of us have never made a mistake, you're lying to yourself because we've all made lots of mistakes. So I think learning from mistakes and moving forward is the way to do it. And I'm going to pick on Susie. I haven't heard from you. Please.
Well, this is kind of tough because everybody's already said everything that I either heard or I already do. So, basically, what I got from all of this was how much how many other ways we can help each other. And, I don't feel so bad when I throw my papers all over the place because with an IT director for a husband, I'm not allowed to throw my computer. Um, or I throw blankets or pillows, or I scream about people. And like I said in my group, I try to go outside to calm down because it's so beautiful out there. But sometimes you can't. And it's just kind of fun hearing everything and how everybody handles stress because it's a great way to learn.
Listen,
And
instead of tossing it because we're at 11 o'clock, we have Clint, we have Brian, and we have Rita. Does
um,
either any of you three have anything that you're just like, I gotta share this? Rita, go ahead.
My dad, when he was going through cancer treatment, told me this bit of advice. Is it going to matter in 5 years? If it's not going to matter in 5 years, it's not really worth you putting any extra energy into it. It doesn't mean avoid it or deny it. It just means don't give it any more fuel than you have to.
And in most cases, it probably doesn't matter in 5 minutes. Right? Probably just doesn't even matter in 5 minutes. Listen, Brian, anything?
Not really. My biggest struggle is, when I get stressed or frustrated, a lot of times the reaction I have is almost autonomic. It's just, it's automatic. I can't control the reaction.
Yep.
If I could slow things down, I would be a lot better.
For sure, all of us. And listen, I mean, the image that I shared on this invite, guys, was coal being transferred into diamond, which, by the way, is my first video invite that I've ever sent out. Okay, right. That was part of my Python coding that I did this past week. So that coal, right, under decades and hundreds of centuries and centuries of pressure and heat and stuff like that, right, and then through volcanic eruptions, makes its way back to the surface where we find it as diamonds. Right, it goes through a lot to get to where it's at, and each one of you guys, right, have something to shine for either the company that you're out there representing, or the job or role that you're trying to land, or whatever else. And our pressure is not what shapes us, right? It's our response to those things that are around us. Please go out there, right? Practice responding with intention, and more importantly, as I shared with at the beginning, right, teach others to go do the same. Go out there, have a great week, everybody. We're at 70 new folks for the year. Next week we've got another triple header coming at you, and then we're going to go the last week of February. We're going to do a job seekers pivot lab, talking about how we can translate our skills into entrepreneurial type assets, and why that's important to you. Have a good one, everybody. Love you.
You want to remind people how
See you later.
Thank you for all you do, Rodney.
Yeah, you can save the chat, guys.
Save the
It's
chat.
all out there. I'm gonna stop